Well, hello, everybody. It's Adam R. Jacobson, the editor-in-chief of the Radio and Television Business Report. Welcome to another Radio and Television Business Report InFOCUS video podcast. It's presented by .fm. Streaming, social, podcast, or broadcast, to get a .fm domain name by heading over to get.fm today. And today, we are proud to be speaking with the Chief Revenue Officer of MediaCo. That is Brian Fisher, and he joins us from New York to have a wonderful conversation with us today about radio and television stations super serving the multicultural community. If you're not familiar with MediaCo, well, it is the owner of storied New York radio brands Hot 97 and WBLS. It is also the parent of Estrella Media, which focuses on Spanish language consumers of radio and television stations across the United States. Let's learn a little bit more about MediaCo's outlook for 2026 and how the company has been transformed as a growing multicultural multimedia hub. Brian, it's great to have you with us today.
Thanks, Adam. I really appreciate the invitation. It's great to be here, and I'm looking forward to having this conversation.
I am as well. Now, Brian, a total of 21 radio and streaming audio brands are within the MediaCo family. So let's first talk a little bit about the audio opportunities for audiences and advertisers. This includes the Estrella Media properties, and as I just mentioned, WQHT in New York, known as Hot 97, and WBLS 107.5 FM. There are also the Spanish language HD choices that are now available across the New York tri-state area. As we look across these distinctive brands that superserve these multicultural, ethnic, and diverse audiences, what do you believe is the continued value and the cohesive tissue and the power of audio to this audience as you and your team at MediaCo see it? And are your advertising partners aligned in this vision, or is there still a lot of education to go through that whole discussion process of here's why you should be advertising on these stations?
Yeah. Well, it's a good question.
Yeah.
But audio remains one of the most trusted and personal forms of media, right? I mean, it reaches people wherever they are, and it forms a connection that's really hard to match on other platforms. So inside our leadership team, audio isn't treated as an old business line. It's a core part of our future. And when you combine broadcast, streaming, and podcasts, the scale and depth of engagement are really meaningful. And advertisers, they see that. They want reach, but they really also want authenticity. And audio continues to deliver both. So we're seeing more partners build campaigns that start, right? They start in audio, and then they extend into digital, social, and events. And it's a model that works for them, and it creates more opportunity for us. So we see a bright future ahead of us.
Mm-hmm. When we look at the New York radio stations in particular, I mean, these are iconic brands. Hot 97 has been around since I was in high school and evolved from freestyle dance music to hip hop, and it's still where hip hop lives. And WBLS is just a tremendous, iconic radio station that after 98.7 KISS FM went away, just kind of refocused and doubled down on its ability to bring current and classic R&B to all sorts of listeners, including myself when I'm in New York. I love listening to WBLS. So I would think that those value points also come into the conversations you're having with the potential advertisers. So I'm wondering, as you go into 2026, what the vision is for those two stations against the rest of the Gotham audio radio marketplace.
So first is we're going to be launching, right? We're going to be launching Hot 97 in Riverside, in Houston, in Dallas. So we're going to expand the brands, right? I mean, Hot 97 and WBLS, they've shaped the culture in New York for decades, and their influence reaches far beyond the city. So for years, we've seen listeners in other markets streaming the stations and following our talent. So the demand was really already there, right? And so we're going to build out these HD multicast, which is going to allow us to meet the demand quickly. It's going to have these two iconic New York brands and give them this national footprint, which they deserve, without waiting for traditional signal expansion. So we're really excited. We are not only that, we are focusing on launching. We just launched in Atlanta. Atlanta is WHOT, which is our Hot 97 in partnership with Trace Media, and we've launched a full power stick in Atlanta, and we're going to take the same feed, exact same feed, but we're going to take the feed from Hot 97, morning programming, et cetera, and really bring that look and feel to the Atlanta DMA. So a lot going on, more to come there. We'll have additional stations as well that we'll launch, but we're going to do slow and steady and crawl, walk, and run and get the brands out there.
I want to now talk a little bit about the Estrella Media radio properties, and all have formats that predate MediaCo's involvement and talent that even go back to when Lieberman Broadcasting was the owner. We think of Don Cheto Al Aire in particular. I'm wondering how these brands are being viewed as 2026 beckons within the Estrella Media and MediaCo family, and how continued ad growth, listener appeal, and just regular listening trends are balancing the need to move forward while also respecting the heritage that the brands in markets such as Los Angeles continue to present the audience.
Yeah. So look, the Estrella radio stations, they have, and many of these formats and personalities have been in place for years, like you said, and that consistency tells you how strong the listener connection really is. From a Don Cheto as an example, right? Looking ahead to 2026, we do see steady growth. Hispanic audiences, they remain young, they're loyal, and they're highly engaged. We have local talent that still drives that loyalty, and these stations, they have it. So what we've done is we've added data, we've added digital extensions and other advertiser tools, and these formats, they work. The talent works, and our job's to help these stations evolve without losing what makes them resonate. So we're really excited about what's upcoming for the 2026 season.
Well, before we talk a little bit about the Estrella Media TV operation, we're going to take a quick pause. We'll put Mr. Brian Fisher, the Chief Revenue Officer at MediaCo, back into the green room. And we thank you again for watching the InFOCUS podcast presented by .fm. And we're back. Hi, it's Adam R. Jacobson here at our home studios in Boca Raton, Florida. And we'll bring back from New York City, Mr. Brian Fisher, the Chief Revenue Officer at MediaCo. The Estrella Media TV operation also involves 3 locales in addition to Chicago, Miami, Denver, and New York. Those are Houston, Dallas, and Los Angeles. And we're particularly excited about Estrella TV in New York, thanks to WMBC TV. There's also the great national footprint that you have by being early in the free ad-supported TV space, the free ad-supported streaming television, fast channel space in particular.
Yes.
What is your vision for what Estrella TV presents its sponsors and viewers, especially as we see a lot of cord cutting and a rapid rise of streaming and digital media where you're kind of out in front compared to your peers?
So look, I mean, for us, the Estrella TV brand is purely built to serve the modern Hispanic audience wherever they choose to watch. And for us, it's all about being free. Right? No paywalls, no subscriptions, free. And that includes broadcasts in those key markets, as you mentioned, a national network, and a large presence in FAST. In fact, we have one of the largest distribution of FAST channels across the entire ecosystem. And for viewers, Estrella offers culturally relevant content without any barriers. And as I mentioned earlier, it's just about being free and giving this opportunity to these consumers across the entire country. So for sponsors, it offers extended reach and trust, along with a meaningful connection to our fast-growing consumer base. And as you know, it's the fastest-growing population in the United States. So for us, it's really about super serving that Hispanic consumer. And we're also focused on continuing to build our owned and operated platforms, Adam. It's really important through our unique experiences that go beyond the screen, right? So that means live events. That means community engagement. That means interactive content and deeper deeper digital touch points. And I like to use this acronym that it's FIL, right? It's free, interactive, live, and linear. And those are 4 pillars that we like to try to include on the network feed. And that's ideally, and we see that with programs like Tengo Talento, Mucho Talento, right? We see that with programs like, we'll probably talk about it in a moment, with Liga MX. I mean, those are really important aspects for for the network to continue to grow. And, that's the one thing consumers, they're not giving up on live. Live will always be an important aspect to our viewers and to our consumers on Estrella TV. This was probably the best thing we've done in many years, was to add live sports to our portfolio.
And that is a great lead into my next question, because indeed Liga MX Soccer had a big day for Estrella TV on December 11th with Tigres versus Toluca, a notable draw for fans of Mexican Premier League soccer.
Yes.
And with so much attention given to live pro sports on broadcast TV of late from all sorts of different operators, what are the further plans Estrella Media may have with respect to putting play-by-play sports en Espanol across its broadcast properties?
Tigres played again, and we won. So it's great. The season continues. It's great for our audiences, and it's great for advertisers. So it's great to see. Thrilled, really thrilled. So the future of live sports for us, it's really about adding in as many live sports as we possibly can, right? And we're talking about programming from Combate. We're talking about it varies across, but there isn't really even minor league baseball. There are a multitude of live sports that kind of come across our desk to take a look at, because we know how important it is to make sure that we really cater to the audience. So live sports is a priority, right? I mean, we are going to create appointment viewing. That's so important for us. And we're going to continue to deepen that connection with our audience. And, we keep looking at a multitude of different offerings. We have 4 teams, like I said, in Liga MX. We have FC Juarez, men and women, and Tigres, men and women. So we're going to continue looking to see how we can expand our portfolio and how it complements our existing programming. So not just take live sports to throw it in there, but make sure that it really resonates with our consumers as well.
Before we wrap up, we note that you began your career in August 2002 as a digital sales account executive for the Walt Disney Company, and you spent nearly 11 years in the Mouse House, rising to VP of Digital Sales. You've also been the General Sales Manager for National Digital Sales for Tribune Media, and you spent more than a year at Bloomberg in multi-platform sales. With all of that experience, how does that help you today in your current role? And are there specific differences or specific things that you look back to that kind of guide you today?
I love that question, because, those experiences, they make you what you are today. My years at Disney were foundational. Digital was still being defined. We still had to build out new sales models from the ground up. In fact, we launched the first full episode player ever. So it was really an exciting time. My time at Tribune and Bloomberg both helped me really understand how broadcast data and premium content really fit together. And I had that experience too at Disney, but a little bit different when you look at a network like an ABC, you have very different day parts. You have early morning, you have news, you have primetime. And when the players are built around, the full episode player is really built around primetime. When I was at Tribune and Bloomberg, it was truly a 24/7 wheel where we were constantly selling the entire day. So great experience. And the biggest lessons that I've learned, it's how to guide me now, or is really just stay ahead of the market. I think I mentioned that a few weeks ago when I was on a panel, but it's really about staying ahead of the market and listening to the audience, obviously listening to the media buyers, right, and to the clients, and it's focusing on building long-term partnerships. But it's so important because the technology today changes so fast that it's imperative that we are really paying attention, not to what's happening today, but what's going to happen in 6 months into a year from now, because you just never know, and how quickly things are changing. You just want to make sure that you don't get left behind.
Mm-hmm. Any final thoughts before we wrap up this podcast, Brian?
Look, I think that 2026 is going to be a banner year for MediaCo. We're really excited inside. And I want to thank our partners, obviously, for helping support us for all these the past couple of years as we become MediaCo, and we're continuing to grow. And for us, it's really about making sure that we, again, super serve that really, really important, undervalued, what's the right word I should use? It's really
underappreciated,
underserved. No, unappreciated,
underserved.
It's an underserved market that we must pay attention to. Look, and I've said this before. Multicultural marketing is marketing. It's not a side stage. It's not being backstage. It's the main stage. In order to reach multicultural, in order to say that you're reaching America, you need to make sure that you're reaching multicultural consumers. So with that, I'm really excited about 2026, what's ahead, and the fantastic team that we have behind us.
Brian Fisher, Chief Revenue Officer at MediaCo. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. It was great speaking with you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Happy holidays.
Thank you. And with that, we want to thank you for watching this all new Radio and Television Business Report InFOCUS video podcast. It was sponsored by .fm, which we'll bring to the stage for one final time.
To amplify your brand, get the .fm domain, the choice for streaming, social, podcast, and broadcast pros. Stand out, stay relevant, own your sound with a short, powerful .fm domain today. Visit www.get.fm and make waves in the digital world.
And we again thank .fm for presenting the InFOCUS video podcast, which is copyright 2025 by Streamline Publishing and is produced and distributed on the StreamYard platform. You can find us on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe and like our channel there. From Boca Raton headquarters of Streamline Publishing in South Florida, the home of both Radio Inc. and the Radio and Television Business Report, I am Adam R. Jacobson. Happy holidays, and find us anytime online at RBR.com for the balanced voice of broadcast media. We'll see you again next time. Take care.